We come together to celebrate you, to be, to love. Come on. Clap those hands, babies. We come together to lift you up. Come on now. We come together to celebrate this love. Come on now. We come together to celebrate you, to be a witness to love so true. We come together to lift you up. Well, we come together to celebrate this. Sing with us. We come together to celebrate you. Well, to be a witness to love so true. We come together to lift you up. Yes, we come together to celebrate this. Come on, come on. We come together to celebrate you, to be a witness to love so true. We come together to lift you up. We come together to celebrate this love. Let's go through dancing. We come and sing. We come and rejoicing. All those things. We come and dancing. We come and sing. We come and rejoicing. All these things. Let's go.
Welcome, everyone, to this diverse, spirit-growing, justice-seeking, beloved community of All Souls. Life for each of us is a journey. We come together to witness for one another, to see the blessing in each other's faces, to convince ourselves that we too are blessings, and to remember that love is always a choice we can make here, where the journey we make together is a journey toward wholeness. Come now and let us worship together. I'm Reverend Bill Sinkford, your transitional minister here for a second year. My pronouns are he and him. We light our chalice this morning as sign and symbol of the hope we kindle and the love we find in this home of the Spirit. Melanie DeMoore is with us this morning. Melanie, take us into song.
Everybody, everybody, come on in. 'Cause everybody here got a place at the table. Everybody everywhere, come on in. Everybody got a seat at the table. Everybody everywhere, come on in. Yes!
Woohoo! Greetings. Wow. Something. Welcome to All Souls Church. My name is Shari Gilbert, she, her, and I'm your worship associate today on this fabulous homecoming Sunday. I'd like to extend a special welcome to those of you who are new to our community. If you're visiting us for the first time or still feel newish, please raise your hand in person or on Zoom, or stand if you'd like so we can give you an All Souls welcome. We hope that you'll be staying after the service, enjoy an end of the summer treat with us on the terrace. We'll have a variety of, it's not on the terrace because of the rain, it's going to be in the Reeb lobby. A variety of frozen treats to help beat this heat and certainly humidity. Multiple options available to meet most every dietary need. And if you are new and would like to go meet us, everyone, at coffee hour in Pierce Hall, we ask that you use a red cup or a red coffee mug so that we can greet you. There also, for visitors, are visitors' cards in the pew in front of you if you'd like to fill that out. Please subscribe to our weekly email newsletter to stay up to date on many upcoming offerings in the church community, and there certainly are a lot. If you're online, links to the newsletter, sign up, and today's order of service are in the chat. If you're in the sanctuary, the links are on the QR codes in the pew in front of you. Sign up for the newsletter or access the order of service on our website homepage. All Souls recognizes that our city and our church was built on lands taken from Indigenous people. We lament this injustice. The closest village to our church site was Nacotchtank, from which the name Anacostia is derived. The residents were part of the Piscataway group of tribes present in the DC and Maryland region. These peoples remain in the region to this day. If you're joining us from further away, I encourage you to research the Native people on the land where you reside. For all of us who aren't native to this land, practice our commitment to the 8th principle by finding out what Indigenous organizing is happening in your area and how you can support it. Now let's greet one another. If you're on Zoom, go to the gallery view and wave. We can now see you in the sanctuary. Hello. If you're physically present in the sanctuary, please greet each other now in the way that feels best to you, an embrace, an elbow bump, or a high five. let's continue our conversations and greetings after the service. Thank you. Let's continue our conversations and greetings after the service. Again, welcome to All Souls.
I'm so glad to be here. And this song we're going to do is for the children, which is pretty much everybody in this building, because we need to connect with that. And it's a call and response song. And the thing is, what this planet needs right now is for every single one of us to shine as bright as we can. And that each of you has a song and a message or a poem that only you can write. And if that is the medicine that you need, somebody else needs that medicine. Please nod your head. Nod it. Can you go, Look at each other, go, So this is that song. Every day when I wake up, I look to the sun and let my light shine. All right? Nod your head. It's easy. And I want the smaller people to sing as loud as you can. You have my permission to make lots of noise. Every day when I wake up, every day when I wake up, I look to the sun, I look to the sun, and let my light shine. I said every day when I wake up, every day when I wake up, I look to the sun, I look to the sun, and let my light shine. I said every day when I wake up, every day when I wake up, I look to the sun, I look to the sun, and let my light shine. I says every day when I wake up, every day when I wake up, I look to the sun, I look to the sun, and let my light shine. I said every day when I wake up, every day when I wake up, I look to the sun, I look to the sun, and let my light shine. Come on, come on. Every day when I wake up, every day when I wake up, I look to the sun, I look to the sun, I look to the sun, and let my light, harmony, shine. Yes!
Good morning, everyone. It is so good to have Melanie here with us. Woo! I am Reverend Louise Green, your Minister of Congregational Care, pronouns she, her. And it's great to be with you. People under the eaves, people in the balcony, people on Zoom. Yay! I'm going to go through what's happening right after the service one more time. There's coffee hour in Pierce Hall, which is that direction through these doors. And there's a red mug if you're newish and would like to signal your desire for conversation. People without red mugs, please talk to the people with red mugs. And there's also a welcoming corner if you'd like to know more about the congregation or talk to a few folks there. There will be time online to mingle and meet today as well. And then we are serving ice cream treats to families and anybody who feels like ice cream in the Reeb lobby, which is this direction, provided by our religious education staff. Thank you for all the carting of ice cream treats. The Reeb Voting Rights Project kicks off work today for the important November election in Virginia. And you can learn more and pick up postcards for Get Out the Vote at the Reeb tables in the Reeb lobby. A little bit later, you can join Young Souls in the Eaton Room at 1 p.m. to explore the Socratic method. This ancient technique can be used to explore philosophy, mindfulness, self-knowledge, and rhetoric. So come meet Young Souls and dialogue with them. Now, please do read the Friday newsletter and your order of service because it's going to tell you the details of so much that is happening this month. And I'm just going to list a few dates. Our first return to Vespers service is this Wednesday, September 13th at 7:30 here in the sanctuary. There is a Fierce Civility Practice Group with Joe Weston that's starting on Thursday, September 14th. There's more in the order of service on that. Our religious education classes resume next Sunday, the 17th. And then after service on the 17th, we have the kickoff for Core Connections, which is our curriculum with a variety of offerings all year long. There is a Roots and Wings class beginning on September 24th. This is a small group experience for 4 weeks that's meant for people that are brand new or have been here for a long, long time to get to know each other and learn more about their own spiritual and faith journey. So whether you have just arrived or you are here for decades, I'm glad you are here today. And I ask you to find a way to connect into our vibrant community and know that you are truly welcome wherever you go.
And happy homecoming as well from me. I am Reverend Rob Keithan. I have the pleasure of serving as Minister of Social Justice here, and I use he, him pronouns. And we turn our attention to congregational care. Our first is a global concern, which is to send thoughts of love and support to all impacted by the earthquake in Morocco. Our hearts go out to those who have lost family and friends, as well as to the many, many people engaged in the relief efforts. Here at All Souls, Elizabeth DeBoer was a congregant here in the early 2000s while a PhD student at the University of Maryland. We are sad to report that her husband wrote from the Netherlands to say that she died of breast cancer in August. He would like to be in touch with anyone who may have known her then and said she still remembers how much this church community meant to her. So please reach out to Reverend Louise if you knew her. We send our heartfelt condolences to her husband Pierre and her family and friends. And we are pleased to report that Gordon Kent is home from the hospital. Woohoo! Though still undergoing treatment for a kidney infection. He's feeling weak still, but is glad to be out of the hospital. So we offer prayers to Gordon for a swift and full recovery. In the silence that follows, please speak aloud or type into the chat the names that you carry on your hearts this morning. Please join me in prayer. Spirit of love and liberation, wisdom and presence of our ancestors, be with us on the amazing and unpredictable journey we call life. May we embrace joy in its many forms, large and small, rare and ordinary. May we share our grief and our struggle and find support in the knowledge that we are not alone. May we learn what we need to learn, letting go of ambition for perfection and instead embracing our beauty as fragile, imperfect beings. And in doing so, may we find meaning and happiness and wholeness. Amen.
Praises for the journey. To begin, a story. When I was 10 years old, that was about 1,000 years ago, my mother and I moved to Western North Carolina to care for my then 91-year-old grandmother. Miss Ida, as everyone called her, had taught in the two-room black school in that small North Carolina town for over 50 years. Literally every adult in the African American community had been her student. To say that she was known and respected, well, when Miss Ida told you to do something, you just did it. And she would sit on her front porch and everyone walking past would greet her. Afternoon, Miss Ida, how you doing today? At 10, I could not wait to get on my bike and join my buddies racing around the neighborhood. But Miss Ida, Grandma, would insist that I first sit with her for a bit, as she would say, and read to her from the Bible. The Exodus story, the story of liberation, was one of her favorites, second only to a few of the Psalms. She would listen, often correcting me, and then she would offer commentary. And I realize now that she was teaching me, just as she had taught so many in that small community. She was teaching me about the Bible, yes, but also about what she had learned in her long life. I learned so much from her in the 2 years I knew her before she died. Lessons about persistence, about how to be safe, about faithfulness, staying the course even when times were hard, as they had been through most of her life. Lessons about the goal being liberation, the goal being getting free, and what it took to sustain that. To know freedom not as license, but as a calling that always involved obligation, what we would call accountability these days. Lessons about what love looked like in her 90-year-old body and what it might look like in my 10-year-old one. Each of us is born into a story, a journey already in progress, a story in which our lives are just the latest chapter, not the final word. And I received from her part of the story out of which my own life was born. We receive our story before we create it. What we know of truth begins in what we are given. The story we receive is where our journey begins. But our journey goes on from there as we grow and age, and it is a central part of the faith we proclaim in this sanctuary that the choices we make in our living make a difference. On our journey, we shape the story we are living by each choice that we make. And that's a simple and pretty direct way to explain what the theological term human agency means, that the choices that we make a difference. And that means that the vision that we hold, the goal that we want to live into, and the values that we use to move toward that goal, all of those things, they make a difference too. Our stories in this sanctuary and online, our stories and our journeys are not all the same. Far from it. And though here at All Souls, we hold a vision for beloved community that is shared because we create it together, the goal is not a homogenized community in which our differences disappear. We celebrate our shared human experiences, of course. Part of the process of connection and community is to discover the ways our stories are woven of similar themes. But sameness is not the goal. It is the richness of our diversity that is our strength on the collective journey we embrace here at All Souls. Now, this year we will explore the practice of accountability and the role of covenant. We will offer more opportunities for connection and the development of a shared language for thinking about our lives and our life in community. We will, I hope, deepen our capacity for forgiveness of ourselves as well as forgiveness of others. We will confront some of our demons and name things that need to be named. We will live and learn and grow individually and together in this new church year, and we will sing out praises for the journey as we go. Now, you will hear plenty of sermons from me and from our other ministers this year. But we wanted this church year to begin with personal stories, because it is out of our stories and the truth we can share about our journeys, out of our personal stories, that the beloved community will emerge. We must bear witness to our own truth before we can shape a hopeful future together. I do believe that. And so I have asked 3 congregants to share a bit about their own spiritual journeys and about how this community of All Souls is a place they have chosen to help make their journey a journey toward liberation and a journey toward wholeness. Erica Landberg, will you come up to the pulpit and get us started?
I hold you close, dear, here in my heart. I hold you close, dear, here in my heart.
Good morning. It's so great to see all of you. I was raised in a conservative, Christian, Lutheran, Scandinavian family in the Midwest. And this included parents really active in the church, Bible school, confirmation classes. With grandparents, I went to tent revival meetings, heard devotions after every meal, listened to fire and brimstone preachers. I even graduated from a Lutheran college. And there were strict expectations and judgments about correct religious behavior and belief, but there was also love and support. Okay, now I enter adulthood. Married a Foreign Service officer, and for 15 years we traveled and lived overseas in various Latin American countries, in India. Jim went to Vietnam. We had fascinating and sometimes even dangerous experiences overseas, and also not much church involvement. We became parents of 2 wonderful sons. So back in the States, I was intent on reconnecting to the Lutheran Church, but I couldn't. I had all kinds of questions and concerns, and I believed that a man named Jesus existed, but the Trinity? I had trouble taking communion. I couldn't say the Apostles' Creed every Sunday. So I left. And for almost 10 years, I attended no church. I was sort of wandering in my own wilderness, so to speak. But something was missing. I just needed to connect somewhere, somehow. I didn't know what. And then I heard that Reverend David Eaton was a wonderful preacher. And I came here to visit. So I began my All Souls journey. And I walked in that front door, down the aisle, sat down, stayed for church service, went right back out. I did not go to Pierce Hall. I didn't try to connect. I needed time to figure out my spirit, my spiritual needs. Well, then I distinctly remember one Sunday, I'm sitting there listening to the wonderful choir, and I say to myself, Erica, you've got 2 music degrees, and you're not singing in the choir. So I joined the choir. And in joining, I made connections, got involved, and with time certainly realized what this church was giving to me, so I joined and pledged. I'd found my church home at the age of 50. Some last thoughts about our journeys. Life experiences really matter, even as there are some we would like to leave behind us. We can learn from them. My early, strict religious training taught me the importance of giving, contributing, commitment. The Foreign Service fostered an appreciation and understanding of other cultures, other religions. So here I am. I have 2 to share of many reasons for why I stay. And the first one is a faith that draws on many truths, many sources of truth and wonder. Not just one creed. That speaks to me. And the second thing is, here I am, I can be who I am. I'm okay. I'm not judged. And I also have the freedom to grow my spirit here. On to the journey. Thank you.
I sit beside you. I take your hand. I hold you close, child. Here in my heart, I hold you close, child. Here in my heart.
Good morning. I'm Bill Rice. Thank you. My All Souls Church story began long before I joined this congregation. I was born and raised in the District of Columbia. All Souls Church has been a familiar sight all my life. As a teenager, I knew it was the church where you could party and dance in the fellowship hall, where civil rights activists met, spoke, and organized, and where in 1968, Reverend David Eaton was the first African-American minister called to its pulpit. My religious foundations are in the Black church, for me, a Black Methodist church. As you may know, the Black church, while not a monolith, has traditionally been a center not only of religion and spirituality, but of culture, politics, and social action. I was nurtured there in many ways, and my fond attachments to my experiences there abide. With our young family, my wife Chevy and I were attracted to the diversity and the theology of All Souls Church. We joined in 1982. In spite of its rich diversity at that time, we were aware of our need to negotiate what W.E.B. Du Bois described in his essay, The Souls of Black Folk, as double consciousness. There were valuable residues from my church memories, experiences, and traditions that I wanted to integrate into my All Souls experience. Part of the genius of All Souls has been its ability to provide sanctuary and support for such a struggle. I maintain contact with the Black church when I attend weddings, funerals, and concerts there, when I attend services there on Palm Sunday to get palms. And I visit Howard University's Rankin Memorial Chapel to hear sermons by distinguished Black preachers and theologians. That is, other distinguished Black preachers. My liberal Christian theology has been enhanced by the opportunity to take and develop adult spirituality courses here at All Souls. Several years ago, my dear friend Tom Hargrave and I led a year-long weekly course called The Bible and Social Justice. Later, I developed a course that discussed Paul as the architect of modern Christianity. During the past 40 years, I have experienced the love, support, generosity, and inspiration of this congregation. There's a story that I've shared with a few of you before that I'll share this morning. When my dad, who was not a member of All Souls, died over 30 years ago, it was a time when I believed that no one could comfort me. This community taught me differently. Friend after friend sent the right cards, said the right words, and made the right gestures of support. But the grandest gesture was that the entire Jubilee Singers Choir participated in my dad's funeral. Not here at All Souls, but at a Black Methodist church, and not at a convenient time, but on a Friday morning weekday. I'll never forget that. At the end of every year since joining All Souls, I check in with myself to decide whether All Souls Church will continue to help guide me on my spiritual journey. This year's check-in was a little early. All Souls is not perfect, nor do I expect it to be. The congregation is made up of flawed individuals, like me. But as a community, we seem much more often than not to eventually come together on the side of justice and compassion regarding sometimes complicated issues. So I'm sticking with All Souls as the best and perhaps the last hope for building the beloved community to which we aspire.
I take your hand, I hold you close, child, here in my heart. I hold you close, child, here in my heart.
Good morning. Good morning. Unlike our other speakers today, you probably don't know me. My name is Toni Lewis Oliger. I started attending All Souls in person in about February. And to explain why, I want to first tell you about my hometown of Saxe-Baja, North Carolina, or more specifically, about Saxe-Baja United Methodist Church. So like All Souls, I came across it by accident. I was 5 years old and kindergarten best friends with the pastor's daughter when I first attended after a sleepover, and the rest was history. I was so fortunate to have an oasis of acceptance and love in an area of the state that felt so small-minded and callous to the experience of its neighbors, homogeneously white and religiously zealous. It was a gift to sit serenely in my pew in the tiny church by the river and have a woman pastor lead us in reflection about love and beauty and pain and morality and getting our hands dirty and what we were having at the potluck afterwards. So for a while, whenever I traveled back home to visit, I felt a sense of loss and longing sitting in my pew. I envied the depth of community that I once felt so tapped into, and I missed things like devotional study and retreats. But I knew that I wouldn't seek out a Methodist church in DC, though you wouldn't know it by all the hymns that I sing in the shower. I've always been atheist, or mostly. So how could I connect to the spirit of love and wonder that I craved? So fresh out of college, there was only so much depth I could conjure from the connections that I made at my tap dancing class or the farmer's market. And I was trying very hard to disengage myself from disengage my sense of self-worth and fulfillment from my work, which I'll tell you is a very common problem in nonprofit. So I wanted to branch out. The challenge of where to look was also a gift, learning how to build an intentional life. The search for shared values led me to get involved with mutual aid, with my neighborhood civic association, and even a police use of force review committee. This was better. Now I was going deeper. I was learning from people. And I was feeling a sense of shared responsibility for our community's well-being. But something was missing. Where was the joy? Where was the variety? Where was the beauty? And so by contrast, the mission of a church is as complex and varied as the people in it. And we're complicated. We can meet each other's needs and organize to create positive change. We can also rest and reflect and learn. We can celebrate policy wins and babies and good weather and adventures. We can also comfort each other in times of loss or darkness. We can dream big or small, expand breadth or depth, have difficult or lighthearted conversations, hold each other accountable, and hold each other in all the times and all the aspects of life where we need to be held. And that is why I'm here. Thank you.
Did you all hear a message that resonated with you in those three? Erica, Bill, Tony, thank you so much. We call this Homecoming Sunday. And this community of All Souls is a home for the Spirit, where our individual journeys are important and where our individual journeys are joined in the hope we hold together for beloved community. Now, there's a reason that we do not try to chisel any stone tablets about the shape of the beloved community, that we do not try to pin down exactly what beloved community might come to look like or what it might ask of us. This community and each one of us is always a work in process on a journey of the Spirit. But this church does proclaim that we can live in love. And though our journeys begin in different places and even follow different paths, it is our deep and abiding faith that we can find blessing, and our deep hope that we can offer blessing on that journey. This church believes that love can be real. And in this world, even to hold out that hope in a community such as this can be a source of great joy. May that be so for each of us. Ashe and amen.
Although most of our Share the Plate recipients are local organizations, occasionally we give to others from afar. For September, we will share donations with the Council for Native Hawaiian Advancement. The widespread damage of the fires was directly related to colonization and extractive agriculture practices that diverted water from natural ecosystems. Your gifts will go to a relief fund specifically dedicated to helping Native Americans recover and rebuild. If you're in the sanctuary, the ushers will be passing the plate for your offering. You can also text to All Souls by sending ASCU to 73256. If you're on Zoom, click the link in the chat, which will direct you to the All Souls online giving. Thank you for your generosity.
As much as water I need, and as much as air, as much as as much as air, as much as water, as much as air, as much as water, I need tenderness. As much as air, as much as water, you need tenderness. As much as air, as much as water, you need as much as air, as much as water, we need tenderness. As much as air, as much as water, we need That is why you have homecoming, to remember your heart and to remind each other that you are not alone. That's why you have All Souls, and you know what? Y'all are lucky. You are blessed. And thank you for having me here. And let's put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. There will be clapping. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. You gotta put one foot in front of me with love. One foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot and lead with love. Lift up your eyes. Don't you despair. Look up ahead. God's path is there. So you gotta put one foot, one foot, one foot. You gotta put one foot, one foot. One foot, one foot. One foot.
To make the journey with us. Despite all of the evidence of the world, we insist that to lead with love is not a foolish choice, but the only choice that can point our lives toward hope. Amen.
One foot. You gotta put one foot. Come on. And lead with love. You gotta put one foot. And from. Have a good day. Go have ice cream. One foot, and lead with love. You gotta put one foot. Come on, let's go get ice cream. One foot, and lead with love. One more time, you gotta put one foot in front. Why